Hello there guys! For today's video, I'm going to show you how to make 3D pop out from Polaroid frame in Photoshop. And also we will dive deeper into using selection tools like polygonal lasso tool, pen tool, using free transformation, distort and warp, creating clipping mask, creating shadows with the use and hue and saturation. So let's get started! So here in our document, let me show you first my three assets that will be used. So this image will serve as our background. I also prepare here a crumpled paper for us to create our Polaroid frame, and also this card that will serve as the pop out effect. So going back on our original document, the first step we're going to do here is we're going to bring the crumpled paper on this table. So to do that, going on to that layer, press V for the move tool and click and drag it on this document, right? So the image size is too big, so to resize that, press Ctrl plus T for the transformation command, okay? And then find those points and click and drag it to lessen the size, okay? Something like this, all right? You can also rotate that. And then with this transformation command, right click on it and then choose distort. Okay. So once I already have distort, you will now able to flatten this paper on the table. To something like this. And then hit enter. Now the next step we're gonna do here is we're going to create a selection inside this paper with the use of a polygonal lasso tool. So to do that, let's name this one as the Polaroid frame. So with that Polaroid frame layer selected, go to the toolbar, go to the third tool, right click on it, and then find the polygonal lasso tool. Okay. And then let's create a rectangular shape inside. To create a frame just like this. So once we already have this selection, press Ctrl plus J to duplicate a layer of that part. So we already have that one, see? And by the way, if you find this video helpful so far, please consider subscribing to help YouTube algorithm show my videos to other nerds like us. So going back, now let's go to the other asset that we will be using. Alright, so this car. So I'm going to press V and then click and drop it on our original document. Once again, there you are. Okay. And then I'm going to lessen the opacity for us to align it on the Polaroid frame. Okay, press Ctrl plus T for the transformation command so that we may able to align it properly. Yes, something like this is fine. And then hit enter. Okay. So let's bring back the opacity back to 100. Okay, let's say this one car. So with this car layer selected, right click on it and then choose create clipping mask. So once I did that, it's already inside that Polaroid. Okay, so they are. Okay, so let's just align it, something like this. Press Ctrl plus T if we still want to resize this car. I'm good with this. The next step here is that we're going to duplicate the layer of this car layer. So selected on that car layer, press Ctrl plus J. So there are, it's back. And this time we're going to make use of a pen tool. So press P, and then for the options on top, make sure it's set to path, because we're going to create path around this car and turn that to selection. So let's start creating paths. So once we already created a path around the car, right click on it and then choose make selection. And then this dialog box will appear. For the feather radius, set this one to 1 pixels. And then hit OK. Alright, so we already created a selection around it. Now, let's go and let's add a mask. So going on to this, in this corner of the screen, select on this layer, add a mask icon. Okay, there we are. Let's zoom this one out. Okay, so we already created this pop out effect from this car. Okay, so as you can see, I want to align this one. So to do that, select on that Polaroid frame, press Ctrl Shift until the last layer on top, press Ctrl T so that we may adjust it from the position that we want it to be. All right, hit enter. The next step we're going to do here is we're going to create shadow of this car. So to do that, select it on that car layer, press Ctrl plus J, create a new layer of that. Okay, And then go to the adjustment layer icon and then choose hue and saturation. So from this hue and saturation, set the lightness amount of -100. Okay. And then right click on it and then choose create clipping mask. And then I'm going to merge these two layers. So press Control, select on that your hue and saturation layer, and also select on this car copy to layer, right click on it and then merge layers. And then from this layer, click and drop this one under the car copy. And then press Control plus T for the transformation command, right click, choose distort, and then we may now start and copy the shadow of this vase here. Okay, so it moves to this direction. All right, that's okay now. Hit enter. From this layer, let's name this one as the shadow. Okay, so from the shadow layer, let's go to the opacity, lessen that one into the amount of 50%. There we go. And then we're still selecting that shadow layer. Go to the menu bar, go to filter, go to blur, go to Gaussian blur, set the radius into amount of 5 pixels, and then hit OK to make it look realistic. Okay, and then one last thing, let's also create a shadow of this Polaroid frame. So going back to that layer, Polaroid frame, press Ctrl plus J, click, and drop it under the Polaroid frame. Then go to the adjustment layer icon, select on hue and saturation, decrease the lightness to -100, right click on your hue and saturation layer, create clipping mask, click on the hue and saturation layer, hold Control, and select on the Polaroid frame. When they are both selected, right click on it and then choose merge layers again. And then press Ctrl plus T, and then let's adjust the position of this by just pressing the down arrow key. Okay, something like this. And then hit enter. Let's decrease the opacity of that layer to 50%. There you are. Okay, looking good, isn't it? And that is how to make 3D pop-up from Polaroid frame in Photoshop.